says the probability of relatedness is 96.7%. You didn't believe there'd be a match.
No way.
Do you have a secret sister?
I believe I do have a sister out there.
Janet Jackson has always been one of those stars who keeps her private life extremely hidden. Even after all these years in the spotlight, there's still so much we don't know about what she went through as a young artist. But one mystery fans just can't seem to let go of is the story of her alleged secret baby. Back in the 1980s, people remember seeing Janet with what looked like a baby bump, only for it to completely disappear later on without any explanation. Since then, Janet has denied all the rumors, saying the whole thing is just a wild theory, made up by the public. But people close to her and her ex, James DeBarge, claim otherwise. They believe Janet did have a child, but gave the baby away because she was too young and her career was just taking off. The Jackson family has always been known for keeping their secrets tight, and Janet is no exception. On top of all the pressure of growing up famous, Janet also seemed to have a pattern of getting involved with the wrong men. In the early 80s, she was linked to Magic Johnson, and old photos of them kissing resurfaced years later, sparking outrage because she was just 16 at the time. Then came her secret marriage to dancer and director Ren Elizondo JRB, which stayed hidden for nearly a decade until their messy divorce made headlines. But before all that, Janet had another secret marriage, this time with James DeBarge. From the famous DeBarge family, Janet and James started dating around 1982. She was only 16 and he was 19. By 1984, they were so caught up in young love that they decided to elope, holding a quiet ceremony in Michigan. Many people believe Janet was looking for a way to break free from her overbearing father, Joe Jackson, who was known for being very strict. Unsurprisingly, Joe didn't approve of the relationship, but he didn't have to worry for long because the marriage crumbled fast. James was battling drug addiction, which deeply affected their relationship. In Janet's 2022 documentary, she revealed just how lonely her wedding night was. James left their hotel room shortly after they arrived and didn't return for hours. That night set the tone for what was to come. Throughout their short marriage, Janet tried to help him through his addiction. She would drop everything to go find him or pick him up from wherever he had disappeared to. She was often late to the set of her show Fame because she was worried about James. Eventually, the producers had to intervene and tell her to focus on her own work. The constant emotional strain became too much, and by March 1985, just 8 months after the wedding, Janet filed for an annulment, saying their differences couldn't be fixed. She was only 18 and had already experienced more emotional pain than most adults. But according to some sources, Janet didn't just walk away from that marriage, she may have walked away with a child. The rumors claim she got pregnant during her time with James and that the baby was either given up or hidden to protect her career. At the time, any scandal, especially for a young black woman in the music industry, could have ended everything. Back then, image meant everything, and the Jacksons knew how to handle the media. That's why people believe if a child existed, the family would have made sure it stayed quiet. Even though Janet has publicly denied ever having a child with James, people are still skeptical. Fans say they remember seeing magazine stories back in the day like in Jet and Right On, announcing that Janet was expecting. But those stories mysteriously vanished, almost like they were erased on purpose. People also point out that Janet disappeared from the spotlight for a bit before suddenly reappearing with her album Control, which they believe symbolized her struggle for independence and her attempt to move on from a hidden past. And even though Janet stays silent about it, James DeBarge hasn't. While he was in jail, he started talking to Michael Jackson's former doctor, Conrad Murray, about the possibility that he had a child with Janet that he never got to know. He also appeared on Growing Up Hip Hop and had an emotional conversation with his daughter, Christina DeBarge. James told her he was tired of the truth being hidden and said it was time to speak up because people deserved answers. Christina also believes there might be a sister out there somewhere and hopes that one day she'll meet her. She even hinted that Janet might not have had a say in giving up the child and that it was likely the Jackson family who made that decision. For her, after all, Janet was still a teenager, and the pressure from her famous family and her rising career must have been enormous. So, is there really a secret daughter out there that Janet Jackson has never acknowledged? We may never know. For sure, Janet has always kept her private life under lock and key, and if there is truth to the rumors, she's clearly not ready to share it. But as long as James DeBarge and his family continue to speak up, this mystery will never truly disappear. Fans are still holding out hope that one day the truth will come out, whether it's through Janet herself or someone else finally stepping forward with the missing piece of the story.
It's true, you'll find out. When she's ready for you to find out.
I'm sure he feels betrayed. I'm sure he feels sad. I'm sure he feels disappointed. I'm sure he feels like he was robbed of that relationship with his daughter. But at the same time, I know my dad loves Janet till this day. I know that her family had a huge influence on her. And, you know, if she was pregnant, the only thing that I could think of was that they felt that she still had a very long career.
James DeBarge still strongly believes that he and Janet Jackson had a child together, and he refuses to accept anything different. But Janet has continued to deny those rumors. In her 2022 documentary, she finally spoke up and directly addressed the claims.
Where was the baby? Nobody saw a baby. I mean, she was there with us all day, every day. Where was the baby? Where?
Janet shared that all the pregnancy talk started back in 1984 when she was filming Fame. She had just begun taking birth control, which caused her to gain some weight. At the time, she was only 19, juggling a new marriage and rising stardom. But people saw her body changing and jumped to conclusions. Her co-star Debbie Allen backed her up, saying Janet was on set every single day, working long hours with no signs of being pregnant.
Did you ever see Janet where you thought she was pregnant?
Yes, when the marriage was annulled, that Janet was pregnant. And James believed that.
You believe that there's a child.
I think we all believe that James and Janet had a
But if
child.
you really pay attention to what Janet said, she never clearly denied having a child. She only mentioned that it wouldn't be right to keep a child away from James. That small detail made a lot of people believe she was hiding something. The rumors got so out of hand that fans started pointing fingers at Janet's own niece, Brandy Jackson, Jackie Jackson's daughter, suggesting that she might be the secret baby. Brandy was born in 1982. Around the same time people believed Janet would have had a child. She was close in age to Janet too, which made the theory even more suspicious. Some even thought Janet gave the baby to Jackie to raise as his own. And then there were others who believed that Randy Jackson's daughter, Savannah Jackson, was the mystery child. A lot of people pointed out how much she resembled a young Janet, and she fit what many imagined Janet and James's daughter might look like. The DeBarge family hasn't helped shut down the rumors either. In 2017, James's sister, Bunny DeBarge, claimed she saw Janet with a baby bump back in the ADS. She said their family fully believed a child was born but raised quietly, possibly by the Jacksons or someone close to them. James DeBarge, on his part, still hasn't given up hope. After all these years, he's holding on to the dream of one day meeting the daughter he believes he and Janet Jackson had together. But at this point, it's hard to say if that reunion will ever happen. Janet has always been extremely private when it comes to her personal life. She's known for carefully choosing what parts of her story to share and keeping the rest locked away. That's why many people think she might be hiding something painful like a miscarriage and doesn't want to reopen that chapter. This whole secret baby mystery has so many layers that it's hard to keep up. There's no clear answer, just a lot of speculation and emotional pieces that never quite fit. Fans still remember how Janet denied being married for nearly a decade, and the only reason anyone found out was because her ex-husband, Ren Elizondo, exposed the truth. So it's not a stretch to believe she could keep something as big as a child hidden too. Back in the day, it wasn't uncommon for young women, especially celebrities, to quietly have children and let relatives raise them to protect their careers. A lot of families kept secrets like that, and if any family could pull that off, it's definitely the Jacksons. Even though I've always admired Janet and loved her work, I can't help but feel like there are still parts of her story we may never hear. So what do y'all think? Is this all just one big misunderstanding? Or could there really be a child out there that Janet never told the world about? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe because there's more tea to spill next time. See you then, baddies.